My name is Tori Pritchett, and I am a Living Archives intern. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Wright. Okay, and I'm going to give him the opportunity to introduce himself.
Hey, y'all. My name is Mr. Wright. I am a coordinator of student leadership and engagement at the JCSU University. How y'all doing today?
All right. Thank you. And if you could, Mr. Wright, give us, I'd say, a brief description of who you are.
So I am the man with the plan. I am Mr. Kyle Wright. I go by Mr. K, Coach K. I help run the intramural program here at JCSU University. I also help advise some of the clubs and organizations, as well as Student Government Association and Royal Court.
Okay. All right. And if you could, we did do a hand map activity before. If you could go over some of the things that we talked about and reflected on. You can choose.
So for me, this is my hand map. My hand's a little small, but I did my best. So for me, after just sitting down thinking about who I was and what I have become since COVID, I feel like I have become more outspoken. I'm more ambitious, influential, honest, fearless, and educated since I was during COVID. At the time, I was a senior in high school when COVID hit. I didn't know what to do. I was very nervous, real confused, just because this is the first time this is going on in my life. So I just try to look towards the best and take everything as a learning lesson.
Okay. Senior high school or college?
College.
Okay, that's all. Okay. All right. And is there anything else that you'd like to share from your hand map?
Well, for me overall, I feel like during COVID, we were so restricted and we were stuck in the house and with limited movement. I needed to be more creative, coming up with new ideas and things I can do to obviously try to make some money, but as well as keep myself entertained. I actually did a small little business of controller modding. I would take people's video game controllers, I would change out the buttons, or I would even hand dip the controller in paint and give them a wrap controller in paint and send it out to people. I made a couple $100 from that, just something to give me a side hustle on the side of things. I was working during COVID, but I was very limited because I worked as a summer camp counselor and trying to come up with new ideas for these kids to play games and stuff with. It was very restricting because we probably only had like 20, 25 something kids from our normal 45, 50 kids. Had to be cautious of cleaning everything, keeping them spaced out. And it was hard because you have kids who are not used to this. They're about from 6 to 11 and they have to wear a mask every day, all day. And they're just like, I don't want to wear this mask. So coming up with ways to keep their mask on, we made everything a game for them. And so I feel like overall that was the biggest takeaway I got from COVID was that creativity. Some of the things I used to keep myself going through COVID was video games, anime, school, of course. I was at the time where I didn't know if I was going back on campus, but luckily my school gave us the chance to come back. And actually during my senior year, I was on the Royal Court. So for me, I feel like I missed out on a lot of things. I didn't get to experience homecoming. I didn't get to experience some of the conferences. So that was for me something I feel like I lost out on. But I was okay with it because it gave me the chance to further my education and to still get my degree, as well as, like I said, work. And one of the things with the creativity was basketball. So I worked at a gym, and during that time, we would have guys come in and out the gym, and we would keep ourselves occupied playing basketball because a lot of the times we couldn't go to the main gyms and play basketball because they were still closed or they would restrict certain things. So for us, it was a way for us to keep in shape, but as well as just be able to stay connected with who our friends were. Obviously, we had to take precautions. People had to go get tested, check temperatures at the door. But just having that opportunity and being able to do that for us, it kept us going through COVID. And for us, COVID went by very fast, like a breeze almost.
All right. Okay, and how did you feel, just going back to when you stated that you had to leave, basically. You didn't get to experience homecoming and, other events that would have taken place if you were on campus. So just transitioning and leaving school, how did you feel about that?
At first, when I left school, no one wants to be at school, so I was real happy. I remember COVID happened. I just came back from doing some stuff with my fraternity. I got back on campus and I had got the call. They said, hey, y'all have to pack up. Y'all got to go home. Y'all got to leave. And that was back in March of 2020. And I was like, okay, well, we still got a couple more months. That's cool. I'm moving on forward. Senior year, here I come. But when time came, I was upset because I didn't realize how much I missed my friends, my soon-to-be family, as well as I felt, deprived of the things that I really wanted to experience while I was in college. I felt like I missed out on a lot of things. I was upset. I was angry, but I was also in a constant state of just trying to be aware of things because 1 second, everything could be okay. Next thing you know, someone's in the hospital. And everything at that time was just COVID this, COVID that. You never felt like you was getting away from COVID. It felt like it had a control of your life. And it was very uneasy because no one wants to feel like someone else has control of their life, especially with something that you really can't control.
Yes, definitely. And during that time, with you transitioning back to campus and just, being a part of, the Royal Court, how was that for you? What really motivated you to kind of take on a position like that?
I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. All my 4 years of college at first, I didn't do nothing that I felt like I really should have done. I was an RA for like my sophomore year, and I ended up joining one of the greatest fraternities out there, Alpha Phi Alpha. But I didn't feel like I was utilizing my potential to its fullest. And I wanted to stand as one of the student leaders on campus and, give the students the same experiences that I felt like I was missing, or just be an advocate for the students as well. Because a lot of time as students, when you're not in certain roles, you feel like your voice is diminished. But I wanted all students to understand that your voice is not diminished. It's heard and it's understood. And we're going to do our best in our roles as student leaders to try to advocate for you as best as possible. And I just wanted to, I know coming in from COVID, it was going to be tough. Students were going to want to hang out, party, but trying to just create new spaces for them to still feel like they have that social interaction, but still being safe. That was one of my driving goals with being on the Royal Court.
Okay, that's amazing. All right, and during that time, what was it like as far as, were you able to attend conferences or anything during that time?
So we weren't able to attend conferences. I know usually during that time, most student leaders will attend things like NASAP or Kings and Queens. I had to miss out on all of those. So, it sucks to say that I had to miss out on those. But at that time, we just had to do what was right, what was best, and keep everyone safe. And I'm glad that, we didn't try to push anything because we never knew what could have happened or what would have happened. So I'm just happy to say that I was able to still serve as one of the Royal Court members, and I'm still here today.
Okay. And as far as how did you feel about the requirements in terms of social distancing?
I feel like social distancing should never really be a requirement. I really feel like it should just be what we do naturally. I feel like COVID opened up our eyes of how dirty it can be around this world. I know a lot of times I experienced during COVID, I would go into a public restroom and I would see others not wash their hands. And I'd just be like, this is one of the necessary things you should do. And this is also just simple stuff like that helps limit it. It might not prevent it, but it does limit the spread of certain just germs and diseases. Giving people space, because I know, especially now since COVID has lined up a lot, you'll probably stand in line and next thing you know, you have someone almost breathing down your neck. And not just even medical wise, but socially wise, I don't want to have someone, feel like they're breathing down my neck. Just giving someone that extra space, like that, a couple inches or, maybe even a foot always goes a long way, because you never know if you have to sneeze, will your sneeze get on that person? You just never know. And having that that precaution already in place, it goes a long way, truthfully.
Yes, I completely agree. Now, has any of your normal routines changed? Has the pandemic influenced it? Any changes in your normal routine?
I would say normally, as a young male, I didn't worry much about my health, like just physical checkups and stuff. I was always be like, hey, if I don't feel good, I'll just take a little bit of medicine, or if it's nothing broke, don't worry about it too much. But now I prioritize going to the doctors on a regular, especially if I don't feel good. Just because now I have a daughter and I have to worry about, her as well. I can't just be, I feel okay. No, I need to make sure that I'm here to see the next day to take care of her and be in her life as well. So not just COVID, but that as well has played a bigger part. So I always want to take care, and I've pushed my physical health things that I do as far as like dietary supplements and stuff like that in my daily life. I try to implement that more.
Okay, that's great. And so I'm going to change, shifts or gears here. I want to ask, how has, your friendships or family relationships changed during the pandemic?
Friendships, a lot changed. Not being able to see some of my friends, obviously, it pushed me away from them, and they got pushed away from me as well. But I knew the ones that I was going to communicate on a regular basis, I spent actually more time with them than I expected. Like I said, through basketball and video games, also anime, because during that time we had to do our best to keep away. So I feel like during that time, social media was my friend, and it helped me connect with the people that I still cared about. I don't like social media all the way, but I did see the importance of it, especially during that time where we wanted to be with people who like friends and family, but we really couldn't connect with them. And this was the closest thing we could do to that. As well as for family, I wasn't so worried about COVID. Like I said, being young and not really just like a good immune system and stuff. Like, okay, if I get COVID, I can just fight it off. But I never thought about the impact of it would be if I catch it, where am I going to be at? Because I'm at the time staying at my mom's house, and my mom is an older lady, obviously not too old, but just older than I am. And if I catch it, she's susceptible to catching it. And that's not fair to put her in that situation when she's doing all the right things to take precaution. And it kind of shook up me and my mom's relationship for a while. But I know at the end of it all, she would address me on it, and I'd have to listen and understand where she was coming from. And it brought us back closer at the end.
Okay. And how has this experience shaped you as a person?
I feel like overall, COVID has given me the necessary tools I need to not just grow in my role, but also as many things, a father, a friend, as well as a leader. It's given me the opportunities to step in certain lights, and also it's humbled me a lot. Just keeping in mind that you just never know when life is going to pass or end. You just never know. One day, it only takes one day for things to change. And just being a reality check to not just me, but I feel like a lot of people in the world. COVID, I hate to say that it happened, but I feel like it was needed because we were getting too comfortable, and we needed a reality check.
Okay, that's a good way to look at it. And do you think that there are any long-lasting consequences?
Right now, I'm not no medical expert, but I feel like medically it might have a long-term effect. We don't know because it just recently happened, just recently passed. I'm not no conspiracy theory person, but some people have vaccinations. You don't know how that will affect their body long terms. But I always tell people, if that's what you feel like is comfortable for you, do what you feel like makes you comfortable. I know I at one point was skeptical on getting it just because of how it felt so quick of how it came about. But you know, I had to do what I had to do to just take care of precautions for not just my friends but also my family and myself.
Yes, definitely. Now, I do want to be mindful of your time, but I always ask my participants, what is a piece of advice that you would share for someone that, you know, may go through something similar as, you know, the COVID-19 pandemic?
Don't give up. It may seem like it's the end of the tunnel and it's all dark, but you can always find a light to that tunnel. So never give up.
Okay. Well, we do appreciate you for taking the time out to have us interview you today to look in the archive. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.